Alright, so today I'm just going to show you a full day of shopping. So this video is going to be extremely useful in case if you're just starting out your body transformation journey with W1R body transformations. So stay tuned because I'll be going through most of the food sources which are going to be in alignment with respect to your goals. And yeah, that's basically it. Let's crack on. That's it. Alright, the first thing that I would actually start off from is eggs. This is like an easily available source of protein. For one egg, you pretty much get like 6 grams of protein for like more or less 60 to 70 calories, So yeah, and if you are on a really low calorie diet, then egg whites are like a really useful source of protein, but I would suggest whole eggs. So yeah, here we go. Alright, the second most important source of protein is lean meat, and the best lean meat in my opinion is going to be chicken breast, lean fish, white fish, etc. So as you can see, I'm going for frozen chicken breast. I have absolutely no preference for frozen or organic. It doesn't really make any sort of difference when it comes to your fat loss goals. It's just that with organic, the nutrients are more, and with frozen, the nutrients are less. So yeah, but it doesn't really make any difference with calories in or calories out. With 100 grams of raw chicken breast, you get 165 calories, and you get anywhere between 20 to 25 grams of protein. So that's a really good source of protein. Next important lean protein source is going to be whitefish. Now, a couple of examples, a couple of good sources of whitefish would be tilapia, dory, sea bass, etc. But since, in case if you guys are on a budget, instead of purchasing fresh whitefish, frozen whitefish is better than nothing. So as you can see, you get them in packages like these. For 100 grams of raw whitefish, you get anywhere between 90 to 22 grams of protein, which is similar to chicken breast, and this is far more cheaper than chicken breast. So yeah, another really good source of lean protein is going to be shrimps. So as you can see, frozen shrimps. Now again, I have absolutely no preference of frozen shrimps over fresh organic shrimps, but this tends to be cheaper, and in case if you guys are on a budget, frozen shrimps is better than nothing. As you can see, for 57 calories you get like 12 grams of protein. So like let's say if you have 200 grams of shrimps, you're going to get 24 grams of protein with like 100 calories, which makes it even better than chicken breast, smoked salmon, or turkey breast itself. Now this source of protein is really useful in case if you're a vegetarian, or in case if you're low on time and you find it difficult to pull in your meals. The source is going to be Greek yogurt. Now this can be eaten plain alongside with a dish, or you can simply mix your whey protein alongside with it, add in a little bit of berries on top of it. But this is an excellent source of protein. It fills you up, it's really good for your gut, and it tends to be relatively cheap as well. So Greek yogurt is really helpful. It should be in your shopping list. Now, since you're going to be on a diet, you're going to get sugar cravings. The best form of sugar cravings, the best way to satisfy your sugar cravings is going to be to increase the quantity of your fruits. Now, some fruits like bananas, etc., tend to be relatively calorie dense, and they tend to be low in calories compared to things like blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, etc. Now, the thing about these berries is they taste really good. They are high in fiber, and adding in more fiber in your diet simply helps you improve your digestion, and they tend to fill you up, and they tend to reduce your cravings. So I would have some sort of berries in your shopping list. So another good source of food, especially while you're on a diet, is going to be kiwis. Why? Because they tend to be high in vitamin C. They tend to fill you up relatively more. They are high in fiber, and if you were to eat them with the skin, your fiber levels are going to be far more better, which is going to optimize your digestion far more better than other fruits. There's nothing magical about a specific source of fruit, but these tend to be low in calories. They tend to be high in fiber. So yeah, this should be on your shopping list as well. Another important source of carbohydrates, which tends to be high in fiber and which tends to fill you up far more better relative to rice or wheat during a diet, is going to be potatoes. Now these tend to be high in fiber. They tend to fill you up a little bit more, and they take relatively more time to digest compared to rice, wheat, or bread, thereby keeping you fuller during a diet. Now, it doesn't really make that much of a big difference if you switch to sweet potatoes, and if you don't like normal potatoes. That depends on personal preference, but I would add this to your shopping list. And there are like several ways to make it in the form of mashed potatoes, baked. You can cut them into thin stripes and bake them in the form of chips. So yeah, this should be on your shopping list. The next important source of carbohydrates, if you love rice, is going to be some sort of basmati rice. Why do I personally prefer basmati rice relative to other sources of rice is because basmati rice tends to be relatively low in calories. And why do I prefer brown rice over white rice is because brown rice tends to be higher in fiber, thereby making it easier in your digestion, thereby improving your digestion, and it takes longer to digest, thereby keeping you fuller while you're on a fat loss diet when you tend to feel a bit more hungrier. It absolutely makes no difference if you go switch over to white rice. A brown rice tends to be a bit more fat loss friendly because it keeps you fuller and it improves your digestion and it keeps you a bit more satisfied. So this should be in your shopping list. Now, during a fat loss diet, your food's going to be high in protein, high in vegetables, high in like relatively whole foods. Now, the deeper you get inside a diet, you're going to feel like your food is bland. So like an interesting way to make your food less bland is to use calorie friendly sauces. Now, a lot of y'all might be using some sort of cheesy, creamy, calorie dense dressing for your salad. I would say avoid it. Instead, replace them to things like Nando's spicy sauces. They tend to be relatively low in calories and they tend to relatively make your foods a bit more interesting. What you can do is, in case if your room for calories are going to be relatively higher, then you can add in some barbecue sauce. They tend to have calories, but they tend to be lower than your cheesy, creamy dressings. Or a lifesaver, according to me, for my personal preference, is going to be some sort of yellow mustard sauce. They tend to have like 10 calories for 30 grams of it, thereby making your food really interesting, giving it that tangy taste. Or this is another lifesaver, Tabasco. Now, when you add in Tabasco, it has absolutely little to no calories. It has 5 calories for like 20 ml of it. And the spicier the food, research shows that your metabolism tends to slightly fire up a little bit more. So yeah, the second thing is sriracha. Sriracha has like, let's say, 139 calories for 100 ml. 30 ml of this will probably give you something like 10 calories, thereby making your food way more spicier, way more tastier, and way less bland, thereby improving your adherence to the diet. So overall, tend to make choices for sauces around these criteria. It should be low in calories, it should be spicier, it should give your food a tangy taste, and it should not be creamy and calorie dense and fatty. Basically, that's basically it. This source of protein tends to be really important in case if you're like an extremely busy individual who's probably on the road constantly, or if you're busy on back-to-back calls, or you just have no time to prepare your meal. So beef jerky is an excellent source of protein because they tend to be low in calories, they tend to be low in fat, and they tend to be really high in protein. So like, let's say for 100 grams of these you get 255 calories and you get 40 grams of protein, making it similar to that of a chicken breast. This absolutely requires no preparation. You just need to tear it open and you can just simply start munching on it. So I would say, in case if you're a busy individual, this should be there on your shopping list while you're on a body transformation journey. Yeah. Right. The next source, especially while you're on a diet, would probably be coffee. Now, a lot of y'all love coffee. The thing about caffeinated beverages is they tend to have a hunger suppressing effect. So if you were to have like milk coffee, if you were to have like milk tea, etc., it's going to suppress your hunger, thereby making it easier for you to stick to your diet. But it's going to provide unnecessary calories from milk. It's going to provide unnecessary calories from the sugar. So what you can do is you can replace it with like regular coffee made in the form of black coffee. It can be espresso, etc. Now, for those people who have like a bit of a coffee addiction and it comes at the cost of their sleep, I would say instead of just simply cutting out caffeine, you want to replace it with decaffeinated coffee, basically, because some taste of coffee is better than no taste of coffee. So yeah. Next important source of protein, especially while you're on a diet or throughout your fitness journey, whether you're building muscle, whether you're trying to drop body fat, or whatever your goal might be, is whey protein. Now, I would suggest only add in whey protein if your calories allow it. Otherwise, I would prefer you to get your protein from whole food sources, because when you're on a diet, I'd rather have you guys stay a bit more fuller. But in case if you guys are extremely busy, if you guys are on back-to-back calls, or if you guys have no time to prepare your meals, then 1 to 2 scoops of these is better than nothing. There are a couple of ways to make this. You can put it inside your Greek yogurt, you can make it in the form of an oatmeal, or you can just mix it with milk and just have it in the form of a shake. And this tends to be relatively cheaper because, like, let's say the cost of this would be 200 grams, which could probably be like $50, and you get like 74 scoops of it. So the cost of it would probably be something like 15 grams per day, 15 grams per scoop. So this tends to be relatively cheaper when it comes to getting your protein in, basically. So I would say this is like a must in your diet. The next important source of protein, in case if you tend to be strapped on time, you don't really have time to prepare your meals and you need something ready-made, is going to be light meat tuna in water, tin tuna in water. It's as simple as just simply popping open the can open, mixing it with like some sort of salad purchased from your supermarket, and boom, you've got like a complete meal right there, which is high in protein, high in vegetables. And yeah, so for 100 grams of raw tuna, you get like 24 grams of protein. So, and that too only for 101 calories. So I would say this is the biggest bang for your buck when it comes to a protein to calorie ratio food source. I would say have this in your diet if you're strapped on time. Alright, so while you're in a diet, you would need to increase your fruits and vegetables. Why? Because they simply tend to keep you full of very little calories. They tend to be higher in fiber, thereby optimizing your digestion when you're in a diet. So the common sources of low calorie and high fiber vegetable sources would be broccoli. Now you don't really have to eat it raw, but you can make it and cook it with some seasonings and stir fry it and saute it. The second thing would be mushrooms. You can add in a lot of these for way little calories with like more food volume, and you can cook it in several styles, thereby making your meals a bit more interesting. And then carrots as well, and then some form of onions and tomatoes and bell peppers. So, all right. So they constantly say add in less oil inside your food. Is there anything wrong with oil? Not really, but oils, tablespoon, teaspoons of oil, are used to make your food tasty. There's nothing wrong with it, but they tend to be really calorie dense. So in case if you're used to eating greasy food, when you suddenly go on a low calorie diet, which is a fat loss diet, while you're on a body transformation journey, unnecessary calorie sources need to be avoided. So a replacement for using a tablespoon or teaspoon of oil would be using some sort of oil spray on a non-stick pan to make your food a bit more interesting. So for one spray, you're just going to get 1 calorie. But like let's say if you take like a small teaspoon or tablespoon of oil, you're anywhere going to get like between 50 to 100 calories per tablespoon to teaspoon. This is probably going to give you a bigger bang for your buck. Basically, it's just going to provide 10 calories or 1 calorie basically. So yeah, purchase this off. A lifesaver while you're in a diet, while you're eating outside, or while you're even eating at home is going to be some sort of diet soda. As you can see, I've got like a diet Coca-Cola. The benefit about this is it just has 1 calorie per can. It has caffeine inside it, so that would have like a bit of a hunger suppressing effect. Now, these tend to be colored beverages, so they tend to have caffeine. But if you go for something as a diet 7-Up or like a diet Sprite, which is not a colored beverage, they tend to have no caffeine, and it would give you just like 1 calorie per can. So if you're going to be having some sort of a beverage in the day, like a diet soda beverage in the day, go for like a diet Coca-Cola or like a diet Pepsi or like a diet Mountain Dew or diet Mirinda. But in case if you want to have something in the night, like after the PM, a diet 7-Up would be like a better alternative. Trust me, they are like a lifesaver during the diet.